Hey, guess what? LinkedIn Live is coming. What's LinkedIn Live? Well, it's their live streaming native app that's going to be for all LinkedIn users later this year. They just announced it. So today we're going to go over 3 reasons why you need to consider using it and how you can really get great results using this new technology.
Welcome to IndustrialSage, a free video podcast series all about digital marketing for industrial manufacturers. Hear interviews with your peers and find out how they're solving the same challenges that you might be facing in your own field. Coming to you from the Optimum Production Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is IndustrialSage.
Okay, so LinkedIn Live, they made an announcement a few weeks back that they are finally rolling out with this solution. Now, we over at IndustrialSage are super excited about it because we make a few videos. We like it. And live video is really awesome. So we've seen a lot of other platforms do this before in the past. And honestly, we were kind of waiting for that day when LinkedIn would finally come and say, hey, we're going to do this. And they finally have made that announcement. Now, the caveat to this is that everyone does not have access to it yet. They said they're going to be releasing it to a few accounts. These are probably the heavy hitter accounts. I don't know whether that's LinkedIn pages versus personal profiles, yet to be determined. I haven't seen anything yet, but they kind of made an announcement saying, hey guys, this is coming. We don't know when. Now, if we can use history as a way of foreshadowing, or we can use it as a predictor, they did this about a year and a half ago with LinkedIn Video, if you remember, where they had their native video player. By native video player, what do I mean? I mean that instead of taking like a YouTube video and putting a link inside a post, that you actually would upload the video directly through a post in LinkedIn. That's what I mean by native. So you're using their actual player versus pulling in a link from a YouTube or somewhere else, okay? When they did that, they made the announcement, and a few people had access to it, and then they slowly kind of rolled it out. And it took several months before everybody got access to it. I suspect that's what's going to happen here with LinkedIn, with their live product. So what I wanted to go over on this is there's 3 really main key areas where I see a huge opportunity, and you really need to be thinking about how you can utilize this. And the first one is that this insights report that we did, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go download it. It's in the link here. We talked to 150 manufacturers about what they're doing and their trends and what they're going to be focusing on in 2019. That report told us through our survey that social media was a very big focus for manufacturers for 2019. And that out of all the social media platforms, that LinkedIn was the one that hands down everybody was focusing on. So that's kind of material. That's kind of important because likely if you're B2B, you're a manufacturer, you're selling to another manufacturer, if you may be OEM manufacturer, industrial, there's going to be a lot of crossover there. So, and a lot of other industries, even if you're not selling to that, and you're selling outside into who knows what, that LinkedIn is just growing as far as that B2B, that marketplace to be at, and as far as from a social standpoint. So people are going to be there. They're sharing their content. And you need to be on that train. So we know that we've got the stats. That's where the party's at. Let's be there. So the second reason you really want to consider this is that it really should be an easy sort of move, right? So here's what I'm thinking. So you're likely already doing content that is live in nature, and the first thing that comes to my mind is webinars. How many of you are doing webinars in some form or fashion? How many of you are doing some type of live training, let's say like a lunch and learn or a seminar or something like that? How many of you, I just went to lunch with somebody, they were talking about, lunch and learn training that they're doing for safety. Like how many of you are doing that? So you're already used to doing something live in nature where it's not scripted and you just kind of got to go. Well, that lends itself very well to the LinkedIn platform. One of the great things that we're seeing with video in social is there's something about that authenticity. There's something about that conversational aspect to it. There's something about it not being polished. When we see stuff that looks super polished and super clean and super whatever, kind of like this, I'm throwing shade on my own thing. No, but there's a little element of kind of like, But when you see somebody with a phone or just really sharing stuff, and they've got and there's stumbles, and it's not necessarily super like polished and super buttoned up, but the content is really valuable and it's there. There's that authenticity, there's that credibility that we see with that. And so we're seeing, a higher engagement. People like that. So that's a big trend. And I think that's going to not only continue, but it's going to be amplified through that live aspect. So again, if you're doing webinars, you're doing training, you're doing a live event, maybe you're doing a breakout session somewhere, or maybe you're doing even internally. I think there's going to be some use cases to do that. For an internal corporate communication standpoint, there's a lot of interesting applications. And again, you're likely already doing this. So just add this on as a way to be able to disseminate and distribute that information. Imagine if you're doing a safety training, for example, that you can scale and push that out to multiple parties all at the same time. So that is I think that's a great thing that you like I said, you're already doing it. So just make that transformation and add that on there and get more value out of it. Which kind of brings me really to that third reason why you want to do it, because you have that ability to distribute this content that you're likely already doing. That the ability to amplify that message is going to be massive. So when Facebook came out, for example, with their Facebook Live platform several years ago, they had a huge incentive to push that. So anybody who was using Facebook Live at that point, they got boosted and they got put to the top. So when you looked at your feed, I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a lot of live content that was being pushed up to the top. And the reason why they were doing that is because, it was a product launch for them. They wanted to make sure that as many users as possible was utilizing it so that you could have a higher adoption rate and people would say, oh, we want to do this. You also have to look too, why Facebook or LinkedIn is likely going to do this is because that it really encourages people to stay on platform. What does that mean? That means, think about it this way. You've got a store, right? Any retail store, the name of the game is to get people to your location and then stay there. The same thing with Facebook. It's the same thing with LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't want you to come here and go somewhere else. They want you to stay on property, right? It's the same thing. Think of Disney, right? They want you to stay on property and they're going to give you all these incentives. The more you stay there, the more you're going to buy, the more that you're going to be educated about them. It's the same thing. So they're really going to incentivize you to stay there. So if LinkedIn Live, there's going to be a little bit more long form content. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's instead of having a 1 or 2 minute little thing, it's going to be a much kind of longer thing. It could be an hour-long presentation. It could be 30 minutes. It's a far cry than a 60-minute pitch video. But all this is going to encourage you to stay there on LinkedIn instead of going somewhere else. It's also interesting when you use LinkedIn. We've tested this out actually quite a bit. That if you have a link to somewhere else that's off LinkedIn and you put it in the main post versus putting it in the comments, this is kind of the reason why when you see me putting posts on there that I will put the link in the comments. It's because you kind of get penalized for having a link that's taking you away. Again, LinkedIn wants you to stay there, and so that's one of the strategies that we use for that. So just wanted to kind of illustrate one of the reasons why I really believe that LinkedIn, they're going to be putting a lot of focus on it, and they're going to be rewarding you by doing that. So there's a huge opportunity for you to be able to take advantage of that, knowing that that's likely what's going to happen because we've seen other social media platforms do that. I can almost guarantee you LinkedIn's going to do the exact same thing. So use it, leverage it. Here's the other really awesome thing. Imagine all the engagement that you get, with when you do posts, whether it's a written post or you're doing a video or anything like that. Anytime somebody's commenting or liking, LinkedIn, of course, loves that, and they're going to boost that more. You're going to get access to those people's networks. So if I like something that you put on your LinkedIn, then my LinkedIn followers and people that are connected with me will likely be able to see that activity that I engaged with this post over here because they think, oh, then if Danny liked it, then so-and-so over here might like it. So the LinkedIn, the ability to be able to do that longer, we have an hour-long, you'll say an hour-long content webinar, and then you have other people that are watching it. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work, but I imagine that if you are watching a live video as a viewer, that I would imagine that LinkedIn's going to say, okay, anybody from Danny's network that might fit this certain criteria, let's pull that up and show that Danny is watching this live. Facebook did that similarly. So, you can really leverage on that opportunity. So again, what is it? LinkedIn likely is going to say live video, we're going to focus on this. And it's not going to be focused on it for like the end all be all. It's going to be a short-term play, but it's a great opportunity. So LinkedIn Live is going to focus on LinkedIn videos. So do LinkedIn stuff, you get there, and then you're going to get access to that audience and then their audience and that ripple effect. Obviously, comments and things like that are really going to help as well. And the other aspect that I think that is really going to help is it's kind of like, when you're in college, the college days, you're driving around looking for like a really cool party, and you're driving, and you look outside, you're like, wow, that doesn't look like a whole lot's going on there. I don't know if that party's really happening. I'm going to keep going down the road. Oh, but that one, man, there's a lot of people out there. I want to go to this party. Same thing on social media. If you have lots of people watching, you have people commenting, liking, sharing, like all this stuff, then that's going to attract more people because it shows, hey, there's a little bit more social proof there. Like, oh, there's something valuable here. I should probably take a look and see what's going on. I don't want to miss out. But if your party's lame, well, okay, make it better. All right, so that's kind of my thought there. Again, big opportunity. Use LinkedIn Live. There's probably a million other ways that you could be using it that we're not thinking, but I can tell you for sure we're going to be doing stuff. We're going to be doing some live episodes. I really want to do live episodes. We're going to crank them out. They may be abject failures. I have no idea. No, they're not going to be abject failures. They're going to be awesome. You know what? And here's and actually another great point that I bring up. You may be scared. You may be nervous. You may be worried about it. You may fall right on your face. Okay? I mean, that's just the reality of it. But don't let that be something that's going to stop you from doing it. Why? Because we're going to learn from those mistakes. And I can guarantee you, I'll tell you this right now. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try it, but the vast majority won't because they're scared. That is your opportunity, okay? This reminds me of that episode we had with Chris Lukey with Rockwell Automation, talking about how he was building his personal brand by doing videos. We've talked about this before, we have the technology, we have the ability, but sometimes we just get in front of ourselves and we get nervous about what are people going to say, how am I going to look? I hate how my voice sounds. I don't listen to my episode. Well, I do listen to some of the episodes, but I hate how my voice sounds. Are you kidding me? There's nothing worse than listening to my voice right now and hearing people hear my voice and say, oh my gosh. But you know what? Super duper valuable. Get over it. Get over yourself. Let your organization get over yourself. This is where we're going, okay? You're either going to ride this train or you're going to watch your competitors ride it as they're going to wave them as they go by. So I'm just super excited about it. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for you to be able to take advantage of it and do some really awesome and unique things. There's so many cool things that you're involved in, that you're doing, that you can share with the community. There's so many great ways that I think you're going to be able to boost your awareness of your brand and what you're doing and get in front of your target audience. And dare I say, share some valuable tips and some advice and be thought leaders in your industry. So that's it. That's all I got for you. I'm going to stop rambling. But yeah, LinkedIn Live. Think about it. Do it. Start planning. It's not ready yet, but it's going to be there. So what are you going to do? Are you going to be the first adopter? You're going to jump on it. Let's just figure this out. Let's make some mistakes. Let's get our hands a little muddy. Let's get a little bloody. And but I tell you, there's an awesome opportunity there for you. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, listen, we'd love to answer them on a show or in a blog article. We've been starting to roll out a lot more blogs lately, if you've noticed. Reach out to us, industrialsage.com/questions. Put it there. We'd love to answer it for you. Listen, if you are listening on any of the podcasting applications there are out there, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, we're on a bunch of them. We'd love a rating. That really helps us. And we'd love for you to share our content. If you like what we've got to hear, please share it, like it, comment, share it with your colleagues, with your friends. We really want to build this community, be able to help, share this experience and the learnings, and because everything is constantly changing and it's constantly evolving. Last but not least, if you are not on our email list, I highly encourage you, get on the email list. Go to industrialsage.com. There's many opportunities for you to subscribe. There's a bar on the top right corner where you can subscribe, and you're going to get access to more content that we're sending out, all kinds of tips and tricks and strategies and different things that you're not hearing on the podcast or might not even be seeing on the website because there's some secret things. You're going to get access to that. So if you want to stay sharp and you want to help to move the needle with your organization, then I highly encourage you to do that. Let's make things awesome. So thanks for listening or watching. I'm Danny Gonzalez. Good night. Goodbye. I will talk to you next week.